Welcome to the Difference of 13 podcast, where we make a difference by doing it differently. Welcome to week 14, everybody. If you are watching on YouTube, you're in for a treat. We have the most beautiful woman in the world with us. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Everybody has been wondering for the last week who the most beautiful woman in the world was that we were speaking of. Most interesting, beautiful. So we've kind of built you up.
We talked about you last week.
Oh. I'm Lauren. He is my husband.
That is me, the luckiest man in the world.
And what else do you want to know?
Well, I think if you're watching this, I think you might be wondering, Teri and I realized when we came in this morning, we were looking back that we're actually wearing the same shirt we were wearing last week.
And I'm still in a sling.
Yes, she has not improved to the point where she's out of the sling yet. But yeah, so anyway.
It happens.
Maybe that'll be like a trivia question. What weeks did we wear the same shirt back to back? I don't know.
How many weeks could we wear the same shirt?
Maybe you guys should get different shirts.
This could be our podcast. This could be our podcast attire.
Well, I think we wanted to bring Lauren on today to talk a lot about, I think, success. I think Lauren stays at home all day with our kids. And I feel like stay-at-home moms kind of get a pretty bad rap. I know personally I have the easy job in the relationship. And that doesn't even include, you work early in the morning and late at night teaching kids in China online. So basically you work like 3 jobs.
Shout out to VIP Kid.
But I think
we'll put a link to that in the
but
contact me if you want to be referred.
Yeah, but no, I think that's that. And I think there's a number of other companies too, right, that are out there for moms for teaching and additional revenue.
Yeah,
because that's been huge for us as a family as we've started this business and our mission of trying to help as many people as we can in this realm. I think any business or any endeavor, there's always somebody in the background who's kind of the rock. Luckily, mine's very beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think what we wanted to do today is talk a lot about how you stay healthy at home. Tips maybe that you have in terms of things that you've done. How do you still exercise with 2 kids? How do you keep the family healthy with what we eat? Despite, getting up at 5 a.m., working till 8, having the kids all the way through until bedtime, and then doing it again the next day.
And the next day, and the next day.
But then I think also, I think what a lot of people don't talk about is the mental health and supporting a spouse who can be a little bipolar, maybe.
Are you talking about you?
Yeah, I'm talking about me.
A little intense is the way I put it.
I wouldn't say, that wouldn't be the right word.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you define that.
I don't know if it's just one word. It's more than that.
But I think we just wanted to kind of bring on and get your perspective of how do you stay healthy? How do you help our family stay healthy? And any tips out there for whether spouses of business owners, if people are business owners themselves or stay-at-home moms. Just basically with a busy schedule, how have you done it? So I guess we should probably give a little history. Yeah. You want to tell about how we met?
Oh. So it was the summer of 2004. Right? Was it 2000? I don't know. It was college.
Yeah, it would have been 2004 freshman year.
Yeah. And you didn't know my name. I didn't know your name. And then I don't even remember what. I thought your name was Nicole.
You started. It was not.
No.
So then I just called you phone girl because every time I saw you, you'd be on the phone. Yeah.
And then I got locked out of my room. Mm-hmm. And then your door was open and I was friends with your roommate, or friendlier with your roommate. And then, but he wasn't there.
Yeah. So then we ended up talking till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Here we are.
First date, rock climbing.
Yeah.
At Judd Gymnasium at Springfield College.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. Yeah.
See, you remember the rock climbing and I remember the ice cream.
That tells you a lot about our relationship. So
I would remember the ice cream too.
But anyway, we've obviously, and then we've kind of grown into, we got married, we've got 2 beautiful kids, which may or may not run into the back of this video.
They can make a surprise visit at any point in time.
See how long Netflix keeps them away. But I think, both of you are mothers. How did you work in staying healthy, keeping, how did you figure out how to get the right food into the house and exercise? I mean, what have been the biggest challenges for you guys to stay healthy?
You always feel like you don't think of yourself in every day. You think of what your family needs.
Everybody else comes first.
Right.
And
then by the time
you get around to mom when there's time.
And then it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah. And there's never time.
No, there's never. Especially when you have an infant. That's like, did I brush my teeth this morning? Sort of no time.
When was the last time I showered?
Yeah, that's like a whole different type of busy.
But even my kids are grown now, but you think when they're little, once they start school, I'm going to have all this free time. And you don't. And then once they start driving themselves, I'm going to have all this free time. And you don't, because there's other things that fill in that time. And it's minor. Like I said, they're grown, and somehow or another, they still occupy a good deal of my day.
Yeah.
It doesn't ever stop.
There's a lot of wheels that turn in an everyday family. So I don't remember what your question was.
How do you find time for yourself?
Oh,
this is insight into our house sometimes.
How do I find time? So it didn't come. It still is a challenge to find time. Now that they're a little bit more independent, and there's 2 of them, they can kind of help each other out and play with each other, and occupy each other. So I teach in the morning. So I wake up, and when Chris isn't home, I wake up and do 3 classes in a row from 5 to 6:30 before they wake up, usually. And then after that, before that, I have coffee and a muffin, or like a little,
snack.
Yeah. And then after that, I exercise. And then, so I have an hour and a half break for exercise, and then get the kids breakfast or whatever. And then I have 2 more classes after that. And then my day starts. So I've already exercised before my day starts.
I feel like I'm the same way. If I don't get the exercise in first thing in the morning, something inevitably comes up and gets in the way of it.
Yeah. And I don't generally like doing it. So I'm pretty good at finding other things to do.
See, I'm not a first thing in the morning girl. That doesn't work for me. It's usually evening.
Yeah.
Evening.
All right. Where were we?
Okay. Sorry for that little commercial interruption there.
All right.
It's called owning your own business.
Yeah.
Or having a small business.
It's nice when the call coming is for somebody coming in.
Right. It's not a bad call.
It isn't. So, Lauren, you're saying it's tough to, I guess, get into the flow of working out in the middle of the day. Kind of the day gets in the way, right?
Yeah. The biggest thing is I tried several different things before I found out what really worked for our family. And I'm sure it's going to change as it goes on. But right now, that's what works best for me. But I tried to do the evening, and then I tried to do in the afternoon. And you just got to try it, I guess. And then once you figure out your own flow of doing things.
Yeah. We have a couple of moms here that their kids are a little bit older, and they drop them off at school, and then they come straight here and they do a class. And they said it's that same kind of thing that's part of it's become their routine. They drop the kids off, they come here, they work out, and then their day starts.
Yeah.
Well, I think you made an important point. I think I've seen it. We've both seen it with our kids, where it has to fit into their schedule too a little bit, where our kids they'll go entertain themselves a little bit more in the morning versus it gets to the afternoon and they just want to play or they want to go do something.
Or they're hungry.
They're always hungry.
In that afternoon, it's like, well, you've already had one of everything in our house, so.
But I think the cool thing is, as a family, I think, Lucas and Eva, they just will come in and try to do their version of exercise and work out too.
That's been
I think that's important when you're raising kids, is for them to see exercise as just kind of part of a daily routine and something healthy and fun to do. And I think it's not just you when you're exercising. You're not just doing something for you. I think you're also setting a good example for your kids. So, I think one of the other things that Sissy wanted us to chat about was, can you talk about what it's been like supporting or being kind of the backbone of somebody starting a business and being on the, somebody comes into Par for Success, they see, my name as the owner, but I think we both know who the real boss is.
You always think.
But I mean, especially when he was starting this, y'all had babies, tiny babies.
Yeah. Well, our first open house was in the shed.
Yeah.
And that was the day we got our sonogram. Was it the day? I think it was the day we got our first sonogram with Lucas.
Yeah.
And we got like these big cheese platters and like lots of water bottles and 2 people came. Do you remember?
2 people. I remember. We had a lot of food in the car on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ate that for a long time. I love cheese. I didn't have a problem with it. But so that and before that, you kind of did your own thing out of your car. But like your first place was when we just found out we were pregnant with Lucas. So, I mean, I think it would have been a different vibe if like we started it after we had our kids, but like I've never not like this has been our life since kids, so I've never known
it's your normal
another way. Yeah. So
then we opened up
when Eva was 10. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Eva was a newborn when you were finishing. I remember that picture.
Remember our update, our tentative open here was like on her due date or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And that's how we roll.
Yeah. So luckily she was born on Thursday.
Yeah. Both of our kids were born on a Thursday, luckily.
Well.
So he takes Thursday and Friday off. And then we have the weekend and we're back to work on Monday.
So what's that like as the other part, in this case, the mom?
Mm-hmm.
In some relationships, it's the mom that's the business owner and the dad that's at home. Although I guess in that scenario, the mom would stay home a little longer.
I would hope so.
Maybe.
For her body, I would hope so.
Yeah. But what's that been like? What have been some of the biggest challenges for you? And if you can give tips to spouses out there who maybe they're the one at home more so in their relationship.
So I would say the first kid, like with Lucas, it was lonely. I felt alone a lot because it was me and a baby, and you didn't really, I'm a social person. I used to be a teacher, so I've been around. I'm not like a sit down, stay at your desk.
Well, just for perspective, you remember our phone calls when we started dating? We were dating long distance because you changed schools.
Oh yes.
So we'd have phone conversations. Yeah. I literally would fall asleep with the phone on my chest. I'd wake up 30 to 45 minutes later, and she'd still be talking.
Yeah, that's right.
That's my
Both
wife.
of our children like to talk.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because of me, but
But yeah, I agree. I think with that first one, you're alone a lot.
So like you're craving company more so than help. And then with the second one, it's like I need more help.
I need more hands.
Yeah. So it was a different feeling
And for me, with the second one, it was more like I want time alone.
Yeah.
And it sort of switched from I want to be around people to I need time alone because I have these 2 babies clinging to me all day.
Right. Yeah. And I think keeping it in perspective a lot of the times of like, Chris always puts a lot of stuff on, you always put a lot of stuff on your own shoulders. Like, well, I did this and that's why we're in this position. But you've never made a big decision without talking to me. So I never once felt like you're doing something that I'm not supporting. So I think the biggest thing with spouses of business owners is if they're asking you your opinion or if they're asking you are you okay with this? And you say yes, but you really got to be okay with it, because it's a lifestyle. Being a family that owns a business is a lifestyle. And it's definitely, I didn't really know what I was agreeing to. I guess I did kind of.
Let's start a business. It'll be fun.
My dad owned a business, so I saw my mom, and so I guess I kind of knew, but it was a different type of business. And his business, he had to commute a long time. So when we were looking for a house, you try to, we were looking at different towns, and you could get a little bit more money the farther out you go, a little more bang for your buck. But for us, I'd rather a smaller house that's closer to where you work. So the kids' schools are, because when my dad had to go to work, and then we had a play or something, he either missed it or he took off the day, and then that kind of throws off the whole thing. So being close to where you work, I think is, you're done at 8 and you can be home relatively soon. So that I think was a big thing. And being open when you do feel frustrated about things. We constantly talk about frustrations, or if I have anything.
Those are pretty common.
Yeah, and I think not to take it too personally. You can't. It's not. It's logistics. There's just a lot of logistics that, you're not home because you don't want to be home. You literally, before you had an actual staff, you were you did everything. So, if you had to be here. Yeah. So me being mad at you about not being home, but you wanting to be home, but you couldn't. It's kind of like I'm annoyed or I'm frustrated at something, but why is that? And then to provide some sort of solution rather than just complaining about it.
Y'all have, I've always noticed y'all have great communication. Y'all talk back very openly about what's going on. And while there might be emotion there, it's not emotionally attacking each other. It's more like you said, there's this situation that exists and I don't like it, but you're not putting blame on the other person for it.
Right.
It's just more like, okay, we have this problem. How can we fix it?
Right.
I think that's how, we talk about, working as a team, whether in business or in a marriage. I think, we had a problem of, we were moving into this big facility. How are we going to make enough money? The business, I couldn't take as much out as we needed to support our family. So, and we looked at you working in the public schools in North Carolina wasn't enough to cover
daycare. Well, I would be paying for daycare.
You basically would work full time to put a kid in daycare. Yeah. So that's where the whole, I think it's kind of cool to me that, starting a business and being an entrepreneur, you have very similar entrepreneurial, I know you don't think it sometimes, but to respond to that ad and start teaching, early in the morning or later at night, kids in China, opposite of work schedules. That's very entrepreneurial in terms of,
or desperation.
I think sometimes entrepreneur and desperate kind of are the same thing, are pretty synonymous together.
Yeah. When you see, it's easy. I can be an overthinker, and it's easy to get yourself in how are we going to do this kind of situation. But have you talked about the wallet pool?
I don't know that I have talked about the wallet pool. Wow, we're bringing up the deep stuff. Okay.
We're going all in.
Well, you've already mentioned it, so let's go there.
Because it's true.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, totally.
So Chris will now we both go in the wallet pool. Yeah. But it started that you would be in the wallet pool. So Chris comes home. I don't remember. It was years ago now.
I don't remember.
And I don't even remember what started it, but it was a lot of
probably couldn't pay 4 or 5 bills or something.
It was a lot of, I wish this, and I shouldn't have done this, and this is coming up, and I don't know how this, and what if that, and I think I'm going to take credit for naming it. Did I name it the Wellable?
I certainly did not.
I'm pretty sure you did.
And I said, okay, so you have a couple minutes. These are all valid concerns. but you're in a wallow pool. You're just sitting in a pool of sorrow. You know? So get it all out, complain, do your thing, and then get out of the wallow pool and try to find a way to take control of the things that you can take control of, and the things that you can't take control of, it will be okay. You know, like there's no other, for me, I'm a glass half full kind of person, and I don't want to look, it's easy to look at all of the things that are overwhelming. And so everyone has their wallow pool, you have your feelings, and then we try to solve.
I think that's important. Like when you talk to people about dealing with anxiety and stress, I mean, you have to acknowledge those feelings. And I think that's what the wallow pool does. It's just like our wonderful children out there, that if they came in and started tugging on our shoulder and we ignored them, they're not going to go away. They're just going to tug harder. I think when you have anxiety or stress, you acknowledge it. And then I think you always tell me, all right, now get up out of the wallow pool, or I'm going to kick you in the butt and get you out myself. And then let's go figure out how to do it.
It's the only other way. So when I was looking for some sort of work, it was just kind of like, I got to find something. So luckily this worked out, and it's worked for our family. But if it didn't, then something else would have. I can't have another option.
Yeah. Like, we, at the end of the day, we can't control what happens to us. We can control how we respond to it, and what we attempt to do to handle it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you've done pretty amazingly at home with the kids, and to all the other stay-at-home moms out there. We are not worthy. I think you guys have the toughest job, and stay-at-home dads. I mean, whoever the parent is staying at home, I think that's by far one of the toughest and most underappreciated jobs there is. And, so thank you to the public. I'm thanking you for what you do for our children and our family.
Does that mean you're making dinner?
I'm making reservations. Yes.
You have this on tape now.
Yeah.
You can pull this up anytime you need it.
I mean, but I mean, even working parents, everyone has their stuff, right? No one has them. I mean, I appreciate you saying all of that, but I feel like everyone has their own way. Like everyone has their stuff. What's hard for them, what's easy for them, how they handle it. I think we just have to support whatever it is, however anyone decides to parent, or however they can support their family, I think.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, hon. We loved having you here.
Yes. Lauren needs to come by more often.
She does. I tell her that. There's these two little children that we have that kind of get in the way of some things, but
they're probably
that's true.
They're watching TV and having a lollipop right now. They're like, yeah, let's go back to TV.
Yeah, Mom, go on the podcast again. Lollipops and TV. Doesn't get much better than that. So, all right. Well, if you enjoyed the show, please go on YouTube, wherever you download your podcast from, iTunes, 5-star reviews, thumbs up. Certainly comment how beautiful Lauren looks today. And we could certainly all use your prayers for Teri's shoulder.
Yeah.
That continues to heal up and stay in her shoulder. So she does not become a one-armed lady.
Typing is really slow one-handed.
Yeah, your productivity has really dropped.
It's really dropped.
Are you driving?
Of course. No, actually, no, I'm not driving.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Well, thanks a lot for being with us this week, and we will see you next week for Big Week 15.
15.
All right, have a great week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.